Hi and welcome to SF Live. I'm your host, Christina Marie Flores. Today we're going to be interviewing somebody really unique. My guest tonight grew up around the jazz greats Duke Ellington and Billie Holiday, has lobbied with Archbishop Desmond Tutu, is a proud member of the LGBT community and a proud father of a beautiful little girl. He also just happens to be the supervisor for District 8. Please help me welcome tonight, Bevan Dufty.
Thank you.
How are you, Bevan?
Great.
Wonderful.
Excited to be with you.
Excellent. My first question to you, first of all, your biography, I was exhausted just reading it. You've been through a lot of things. It's amazing. And my question to you is, how did you end up in San Francisco? When did you move here?
Well, my mom raised me in New York City, so I grew up in New York, which is where the jazz world comes about. My mom's best friend was Billie Holiday. She was my godmother. My dad co-authored Lady Sings the Blues. Very difficult. I was not quite 5 when Holiday passed away, and it was a very tough thing for my mom. So years later, in 1971, she was not sure how she was going to pay for me to go to college. We picked up. She took a job at Stanford, and I moved from New York City to Menlo Park and graduated high school there and came to Cal. So that was my introduction. I was here in the early 70s.
New York City to Menlo Park.
It was a culture shock.
I can imagine, like whiplash.
I'd maybe been in 5 private automobiles in my life. I'd never been in a McDonald's or a Round Table Pizza. I'd never learned how to ride a 2-wheel bicycle. I mean, all these things. I was a real city kid that rode the subway everywhere. And so it was a shock to me to come here. But ultimately, it's put me on the path where I am now.
That's wonderful. And the path you are right now is the supervisor for our district.
Yes.
Can you tell me where District 8, what does that encompass, what areas?
So District 8, I think a lot of people identify with parks. So we'll say it's Dolores Park, Buena Vista Park, DuBose Park, Noe Valley, the Castro, Diamond Heights, Glen Park. All of those areas comprise, and even a small section of Sunnyside, the Sunnyside Conservatories in there. So,
I've seen that one, yes.
Yeah, it's
definitely
beautiful. It needs a little work, but it's beautiful. And so that's the district, basically. 71,000 people. Each supervisor has about 71,000 people, and it's a great district. And I think I'm blessed because people are very well informed in the district. It's a district that is educated and aware, and it's not kind of homogenous. I mean, some districts like the Haight-Ashbury Western Addition is viewed as a very progressive district. District 7 west of Twin Peaks is viewed as more conservative. Mine is a mix, so I don't get to I don't have any automatics. I have to look at everything and think about what my people are concerned about and have a rationale for how I'm voting and what I'm doing, which is fun.
Absolutely. And actually, I'm a member of your area.
Yes,
and
you are.
Born and raised Noe Valley girl.
There you go.
I love the city. It's amazing. How much now I just saw the movie Milk.
Yes.
Amazing. If you haven't seen the movie, go
now
see the movie.
To the Castro Theater.
Definitely.
Yes.
Right now. Well, after the show. Definitely. But how much of a part of you becoming a supervisor was because of Harvey Milk? I mean...
Well, I always say that I think that Harvey has an amazing legacy for all of us, not just for gay people. But if you think about it, part of his significance is that as a gay man who ran for office, and probably the most visible openly gay man to first take public office, he really was a coalition builder, and he saw that the future of the movement involved connectivity to other movements for justice or for activism. So Harvey was very associated with tenants' rights. He was a small business owner and very involved in those issues, very close to communities of color. He was very involved with Ella Hill Hutch, who is the African-American woman who was elected supervisor at the same time he was. He was the first supervisor to use a fast pass to be a regular transit rider.
Very good, yeah.
Harvey really saw himself as part of other justice movements, and I think that has been a hallmark of the past 30 years for us. And for me, it's an amazing opportunity to step into that legacy, that seat that he served in, and sort of look at where the LGBT community is, where San Francisco is, and to try and put my mark on different issues. For example, one of the things I want to see happen is a world-class museum of LGBT LGBT history. And we've had a historical society that's been around for about 24 years now, but they're located above the Cartoon Museum down at Mission in New Montgomery. And so I've wanted to see them in the Castro, and we just opened, the same day the film opened, an exhibition right at the corner of 18th and Castro where people can see the past 100 years of history of the gay community in San Francisco and the Castro.
That is so important.
It is.
And being the mother of a gay daughter, I also really think it's so important for the youth of the gay community to know the legacy of how they are allowed now to walk freely and not be intimidated by anyone, or just safely in our city. It's so important.
And you know, Christina Marie, I would love to say that I feel that way, but I still think that young people do struggle. And while I think that there are more opportunities to be open, we certainly know about Lawrence King, who is a young man who, just expressing his gender identity, his affection for a fellow classmate, was shot and killed in the classroom. And so I just want to say that I don't diminish that many young people still face difficult journeys in terms of the lack of acceptance that they may find at home, or what messages they may be getting from their churches, let's say, about their issues. So I do feel like things are more hopeful. I mean, I certainly wrestled with being in the closet when I was very young, and actually I really thought that once I came out that there were things I'd never be able to do. And I can remember when the court decision was rendered in June about marriage equality from the state Supreme Court, and I stood in the rotunda, and unfortunately a lot of the media has been about the mayor's, a brief portion of the mayor's speech was used in those commercials. But for me, I stood in this beautiful building and I looked up around me and I said, you know, I never thought in my lifetime that I would be seen in the Constitution of the largest state in our country, or in the United States Constitution, that as a gay person, that my rights, my equality would be acknowledged and recognized. And I think that no matter what, we will repeal 8, but that can't be taken away from us.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it was
and
a
to see that
time.
in the reaction and the feelings of the people there was just amazing.
Yeah.
And now I have a question about the Milk movie.
Yes.
At one point he was saying that we really can't move forward until every person comes out to tell their family, their friends, the people that they work with, their neighbors, and let them know that they are gay, so that we know gay people. I mean, that was back then. Do you think that it's important for people to come out? I mean, regardless if they feel fearful about it or they feel like it may be endangering their job, is it an important thing to really take that and embrace it?
Well, there are laws, state laws, that protect people from employment discrimination. As you know, we haven't been able to pass an employment non-discrimination law at the federal level, and for me it's important that it include not just sexual orientation but gender identity, because I think that transgender members of our community do face a tremendous amount of discrimination.
Definitely.
I advocate that. I think that coming out makes you a more complete person, and I think helps people appreciate you. But I do recognize that people have different circumstances, and so I don't want to be, again, even reflecting on your daughter's situation, I'm reluctant to offer blanket advice. I will say that for me, I have loved my job. I had a situation just Tuesday night where at 6 o'clock I'm holding my daughter and we're lighting the Castro Christmas tree, and she's having a great time, and there were several Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence there who scattered glitter, some of which you can probably still see on me if you've got HD TV. Yeah, I know you asked me before, do you have glitter on your face? And then I got an award at Shanti right after that, and then at the conclusion of my evening was with my daughter speaking at a retirement dinner for the Director of Catholic Charities, a wonderful man named Brian Cahill, who has really tried to navigate between some of the limitations the Catholic Church imposes and doing the right thing, whether it's around adoption or people with HIV and AIDS. And there I was, you know, with all this glitter on me that I had gotten with my daughter, and I'm realizing that I'm in the heart of 400 leading members of the Catholic community, standing there as a gay man, speaking with my daughter in my arms. And some people Facebooked me later on that evening and said, I was with you at the dinner, and it was kind of delightfully subversive. It wasn't my intention. I needed to have my daughter with me. My co-parent was actually at a Jewish group's viewing of Milk, and so that's it. You know, I'm not going to use a babysitter. My daughter's going to experience my life. But it was kind of fun, you know, in a way that they got to see that. and hopefully that's a bridge builder, that they can understand that as a gay man that I can be a good parent. And she was having a ball on the microphone and having a good time. So I think being out is a great thing in that respect, because when you're open to people and they know you're comfortable with who you are, then they tell you about yourself, like you sharing your background and your family's involvement in the city and all the cops in your lineage and all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, you want to share when you know that I'm open about who I am.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.